Dr. Stone, episode 14. Recap, go. So we start where the last one left off. It's Kinro versus Magma. Kinro's got the Helmet of Science and he does a bunch of attacks, and then the first development that we get is Magma being like, well, is that against the rules or not? Like, you've beaten me, I get it, you're better than me, but if that's against the rules, I would like you to be disqualified. If it's not against the rules, then I concede, you win, I'll give up, I can't move. And so Kinro does a dumb, turns his back and asks if it's against the rules. Magma takes a cheap shot. That's not against the rules, and apparently neither is a fake concession. And then the opening credits happen. It's a good, first 2 minutes of the episode. Get new credits. Then, yeah, we see that Magma took out Kinro in the one shot. So the fight progresses to Ginro's fight. He takes all of the raw ingredients to Senku's energy drink, and it works for exactly as long as he needs it to. He gets all hyped up and wins this fight. Then it gets to Kohaku and Senku's fight, but Kohaku's off busy dealing with child murder and gets disqualified. So then we get back to the front of the bracket, and it's Chrome versus Magma. And no. First, we got to do the Chrome versus the little LeFou character guy. I can never remember his name. And I like that they have the whole line about after watching Kinro and Magma do a fight, this is just watching two little kids have a little slap fight, which I do think it's really funny if you're at a fighting video game tournament or even a big karate tournament or martial arts, whatever, and you see the black belts or the grandmasters go up, and then it's all right guys, time to do losers rounds, and it's the most unrefined people at the place barely getting in on each other, and it's funny. I like that line. But yeah, so then the big culmination of this episode is we get to Chrome versus Magma, and that goes poorly until Ansar again goes up, and then he helps it go well, and then Chrome lights Magma on fire and is declared the winner. So what did you like? Alright, so there's nothing to not like about this episode. I mean, I guess there kind of is. We'll just go through the notes. We'll throw it all into things that I like. So at the very beginning, before the credits, we've got Kinro sticking to his character. He doesn't want to. He thinks that rules are rules. If he should be disqualified for using his glasses, then he wants to be disqualified, and that's good character development without showing any character growth. It's not character growth to be he does the same thing that he always does. But it's nice to see that, yeah, he really does always do what he says he does. He thinks that rules are important, and he is the lawful good character. He doesn't want to cheat, and he doesn't want to claim a victory by cheating. And I think it's interesting that this shows, it shows that he's very similar to Senku and Kohaku, which I think it's a nice touch that Ginro and Chrome, which are two characters that undergo significant growth throughout the show, are the ones to complain about strong convictions as a weakness. I think that that's neat because Senku and Kohaku are well, yeah, I'm kind of like that. I have aspects of myself that relate to what he's saying. I kind of wish he wasn't saying it right now, but I get where he's coming from, and this is not a weakness, it's his own strength that I don't fully understand how it works. Whereas Chrome and Ginro are just there he goes again, being the goody two-shoes Boy Scout. oh, look how good you are. We're gonna have to fight Magma. Your little brother might get murdered because of your standards or whatever. But I I think that is a nice touch that the two characters who he's more similar with kind of get it, and then even his brother, who, like I said, is more of a we see him grow as opposed to develop the character that he already has, is kind of we don't ever see him get to be like Kinro in this moment, and so it's neat that he doesn't get it on a character level. So yeah, good writing, good chops, good way to develop a character without growing a character. Um, and I also like all of this. I like all of that because there's actual real progression of the story in this episode, as opposed to just restating what happened last episode and how it's relevant to what's going to be happening now. There's a little bit of that, I'm not going to lie. But, like, there's real big, meaningful things that if your plan is to skip the opening credits, you're going to be confused at the start of this episode. And so if you're someone who does that, then you go back, rewind the credits, you'll notice that, oh hey, we have new credits. It's good marketing. I don't like that I like it, but I kind of have to because I I think that everyone should watch your opening credits, and kind of be wary for when new ones are showing up, and should watch those because they always have good artwork and they wouldn't put it in front of you if they didn't want you to see it. But yeah, that's good marketing. I like it. Um, so so I think this is the only thing that I could qualify as the things that I didn't like. But I think it's kind of funny because it it mimics the real world where the scuffed tournament is scuffed. So yeah, I can't blame Magma for going for the whole underhanded attack if rules are rules boil down to the extent that nobody knows the rules. And honestly, if you can fake a forfeit, then why aren't all of these fights just to the death or to the unconscious? Like, Magma literally says, if your mask is deemed okay, then I'll give up and I'm not going to fight you anymore. That's why Kinro turns his back. And I guess it's kind of on Kinro for not making him speak up or announcing that Magma has decided to forfeit if the mask is deemed legal. Kind of his fault for not bringing it up to the TO when he was talking to the TO. But, I mean, obviously combat has ceased. There should not be anyone really moving on the field. I get that Kinro takes a few steps away, but that's even graceful because if he wanted to get closer, that would have been a better advantage to him than making space from the already beaten opponent. So, yeah, it's just a scuffed tournament. There's nothing else to say. Like, there are no rules. I get that they're trying to be like, oh, this is so righteous and important to the people, so there's all of these rules that people have to follow. But no, tournament's just scuffed. Like, Kohaku's 30 seconds late to her match, so she gets disqualified. I'm amazed that that happens to the people that they don't want to be there. I mean, yeah, in 100% of my experiences with like fighting tournaments and fighting video game tournaments, you will not get waited on if nobody likes you or you're an unknown person. But as soon as you have any like idicum of or iota of fucking clout, your match will be delayed. You get at least 10-20 minutes to show up. So yeah, just scuffed tourney scuffed. It happens. Big house. What? No, I would never. Oh, fuck me. So, all right. So moving on from me shit talking the Smash community again. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, fucking Ginro's self-image, I, yo, that drawing can get a piece. It got me a little going, if you know what I mean. He gets all buff, boy. Nah, he's a tasty snack. He drinks that energy potion, and in his mind, he ages up like 5 years and grows a ton of muscle. Oh, he's a. I normally don't simp over anime boys, but my god, he is prettier than Cloud Strife and Link combined. Uh, Alright. I'd say I'm done with being horny on main, but there's another one coming up here in a little bit. So, before that happens, we have Chrome. He's getting beat up by Magma, and you see him crying and sweating, and you're like, oh, this isn't going well. And then he sees the mask, and he pocket sand attacks Magma so he can get over to the mask, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And you see him crouched over it for a little bit, and then he gets Magma by surprise and shoves the mask up in his face, and he's like, I'm gonna do my sorcery on you. And Magma's like, lol, okay, whatever you say, bruh. And Chrome is trying to start a fire on Magma's dark clothing, which is kind of a good idea. And Senku says, well, that doesn't work. Glass's lenses are different from the one that I made to start a fire, because there's a difference between convex lens, which focus light, and concave lens, which spread light out. And he's got the wrong one. So Chrome, while he's bent over the thing, he was crying and sweating into the mask, so it would accumulate onto the glass, and that would turn it from a convex lens into a concave lens, literally out of sweat and tears, for the purpose of lighting a motherfucker on fire. That is the most metal thing I've seen in an anime for a long time. So yeah, metal, super metal, ultra metal. That's like Einsteinium levels of metal in your anime. Haha, chemistry joke. See, I can roll with Dr. Stone chemistry joke. So talking about Dr. Stone, Senku goes into math mode, like the whole counting the seconds as he passes by and then knowing how that correlates into years or whatever. That's cool, but doing the whole calculations of using the sun through a lens, and part of that lens being water, and a particular material using its own flashpoint, oh my god, that makes my panties hit the fucking floor, and they go slop. It's a loud, wet sound when they hit. Ugh. That whole scene is just beautiful. Because, like, Senku with the backgrounds going behind him, and then in some of them his pupils are, like, flaring, or his irises are, like, flaring in the colors of the background while all of the math conversions happen. It's really nice. I really like it, and it's just good. It's really good. This whole episode's good. I need a cold shower. So, then we get the glorious return of Ansari Gen. I love Gen. He's so fun. And how he shows up is he just says hi to Magma, and Magma starts freaking out, and he casts a black spell on Magma. And so if Magma moves in the next minute after Senku does his calculation, then his heart will explode. And I do kind of like that they play up how Ansari Gen kind of looks like a black magician, and with the whole coming back from the dead, it'd be kind of reasonable for Magma to think that he can, curse people. And so I like his gambit. It's strong in the minds of the people that he's around, but it's weak in Senku's mind, and I really like the bit where Magma's like, oh, this is against the rules. And Senku says, well, not if you move and your heart doesn't explode. That's not against the rules. Like, taunting you is fine. I'm doing it right now, and Chrome's not being disqualified. And I like that Senku knows that the tournament is scuffed. And he knows that there isn't anything wrong with what Ansari's doing, because he knows Ansari isn't actually casting a spell. So, by pointing that out to the competitor and the TO, who both don't like him, he knows that that's the best way to get them to think the opposite. He makes the TO think that things are still going well because he doesn't like Senku, and Senku's complaining. He thinks this tournament's scuffed, so obviously everything's going fine. Nothing's wrong. And he convinces Magma that, oh shit, there is a curse on you, because he wouldn't just taunt you, and Senku thinks that he's taunting you, and dumb, smart sorcerer man don't know nothing, so I'm not gonna move because there's a curse on me, because dumb, stupid, smart sorcerer man knows better than me. But no, I supremely enjoy Senku's way of going like, oh no, all of these quote-unquote rules that you have aren't being broken if nothing happens to you, and nothing's happened to you yet, so he can't disqualify you yet. Really good. I also like how Senku, in that moment, is telling Magma to, go kill yourself, because even Senku's like, this guy is kind of bad news. Like, I like muscle, but I've already had to deal with Tsukasa, and I'm getting some bad vibes from Magma Man over there. And then I like how Senku is wrong about how Ansari's gambit works. So Chrome has the whole bad acting, and Kohaku's like, how is Magma's never gonna fall for what Chrome's saying? And Senku says, it doesn't matter if Chrome's acting well, Gin's acting is gonna carry it. And then, immediately we get a cut to Ansari Gin saying, I know what's really happening here. It doesn't matter that I'm acting well. I am acting well, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that, here, I have the quote. I wrote the quote down because it's good. He says, people will buy any cheap lie if it will justify being lazy. He said, I saw you beating up Chrome earlier while you were already tired. You threw attack after attack after attack, and that was after you had a really good fight where you got beat up in. You're tired. You want to take a nap. You want to take the equivalent of a standing nap for a minute. So I'll give you a reason to not move for a minute, and that's going to work. And I like that Senku was wrong about something. He might not fall for the mentalism tricks and whatnot, but he still doesn't 100% understand that, because it's not what he cares about. He cares about the science and the math and making everything work. I like that they don't make Senku an all-knowing deity being in this anime. He gets to be wrong about some things that aren't interesting to him. He can make his best guess as to why people's emotions work the way that they do, but he's not the expert on emotional relationships the way that Gen is. That's good. It's good. A good character development without showing real growth. Again, I think that's awesome. Senku does get a lot of growth throughout the show, but this is good development to his character, because always being right isn't interesting. Not understanding certain aspects of the world makes people human. Your brain literally cannot fathom every single piece of information that humans have come up with throughout the years. Even all the information that we've passed down to each other, because, let's be honest, we've probably lost more knowledge than we wrote down throughout all of our history. With the internet, that might be changing more so now than in the past. But it is actually impossible for you as a human to know everything that all the humans in the world know. And I'm glad that we don't have an all-knowing being as our protagonist. So, good character development all around in this episode that's just a bunch of fighting. Good job. Good job, show. Alright, and then my final little bit is I think it's funny how after Magma gets defeated, even the TO, before he announces Chrome as the winner, starts, like, laughing and smiling and like, oh, thank God that didn't happen. I just think it's funny that even the TO didn't want Magma to win. But yeah, that's episode 2 in the Scuffed Tournament arc. I'm glad that we end on a guaranteed win for the Kingdom of Science, because it means that, Senku did get to rig the tournament roughly in the way that he wanted to. It didn't pan out perfectly, but it's working out well. But yeah, so that's everything that I like. Things that I don't like, I don't know. Like I said, there's the whole Scuff tournament thing. The tournament has to be scuffed for Senku to be able to rig it the way that he does, so I don't mind it. It's just fine writing. And I don't think there's any spoilers, really. Just I guess one of the big spoilers is this is the last time we see Magma really being a bad guy, I think. I could be wrong. But he just gets to kind of be a douche off to the side until he really gets an understanding of who Senku is and starts saying eye to eye to him eventually. So that's your spoiler section, is enjoy Magma while he's still evil. Not that he's not enjoyable once he's nice, but while he's evil, I think he's one of the more compelling evil people. He's got his reasons and his own shitty motivations that the show tells you so that you don't like him. And that's is an interesting way of developing the character. They really make him evil. They make him evil in his own way. They give him his own desires and skills. And they make you enjoy not liking him. They make you glad that you're not dealing with Tsukasa and that this is a hurdle that will eventually be overcome. But they make it a really nasty hurdle, and he's a good evil character. I really like good evil characters. And I think Magma is a supremely well-written bully. Because there's a bunch of different types of evil characters, and all Magma is just a bully to just the highest extent that you can possibly take that concept. Like, he's not a supervillain, he's not the warlord, he's just a dickhead. So, what's the big takeaway? I think the real big takeaway in this episode is that you shouldn't underestimate people, and you shouldn't overestimate people. If you're in a fight, know your opponent. If you ask someone for help, don't be unreasonable, but also don't patronize them. Know who is around you, understand how they feel, and that usually will lead to a better quality of life for everyone around. And I think that a lot of people have the wrong expectations for the people around them. And that's where a lot of sore feelings originate. But I think that, honestly, if people were more honest about who they were to other people, then other people would be able to treat them the way that they actually need to be treated, as opposed to the way that they would like to socially engineer how people, like, what people will do for them and how other people will think or talk about them. I think that that's really sad when you see it. And yeah, that's the podcast. I'm gonna go play some Elden Ring.